Gentlemen, since 9/11, there hasn't been a major attack of terrorism on U.S. soil. A couple smaller ones, but not a major one. But two things have recently changed that give me concern. You know, the Department of Homeland Security was created in 2003 and was created to consolidate and pull together all the security agencies basically under one umbrella to coordinate the strategy and communications. It was a pretty sound idea, whatever you think of the loss of privacy and all that kind of stuff. Bottom line is we haven't really had a major terrorist attack on U.S. soil in about 20 years. But guys, two things have changed recently that give me concern that we're about to see terrorism come back to a city near you. So gentlemen, welcome back. I'm David. This is the Mountain Men. This is the channel, guys, where we help good men do great things, as we often say, first in here in our own lives, then in our families, then out in the culture. And obviously, we're talking about out in the culture today. We're talking about terrorism returning to U.S. soil. You know, you hear in the media domestic terrorism, and there's a political agenda behind that, and white supremacy and all that. You hear a lot about that in the media, but you're not hearing about the possibility of foreign terrorism reemerging in this country on a major scale. Guys, there's two reasons that we should be just connecting the dots and understanding that this is a new and grave concern. One is the obvious: the southern border is wide open, and we've had well over 2 million people that we've been able to identify and give them their ticket in court, so to speak. Obviously, that's fraught with all kinds of disaster. But it's the 400,000 gotaways that should be concerning us. If those 400,000 gotaways have been identified through our surveillance capabilities, how many did we miss? You know, that got away that we don't know about? It's probably, the true number is probably 500,000 or 600,000. Now, and we have caught, that we know of, we've identified 42 who've been apprehended who tried to get away, but were caught, that were on the known terrorist watch list. How many in that 400,000 or 500,000, how many more are in our country? I'm going to say, gentlemen, it's probably 100, 200, 300, maybe 1,000 terrorists that are sent from foreign governments and from ISIS and from the Taliban. Gentlemen, you can better believe they are here and they intend to do us harm. The second reason that we should be concerned about this, take that scenario I just explained and add it to the fact that the Biden administration, whatever you think about them politically, philosophically, the Biden administration is really good at bungling everything. They're administratively inept. They couldn't run a business, let alone the most powerful country in the world. So they're screwing up so many things and causing so much problems for Americans. You know, you take the withdrawal from Afghanistan as probably the biggest and the most classic. Who thought that out? Obviously no one. And they don't tend to have good business leaders in their administration, so they're dropping the ball. This most recent scenario where baby formula shortage is now an immediate, immense crisis. The federal government has known since February of this year, numbers of months ago, that 40% of the supply would be disrupted and taken off the shelves. And nobody connected the dots and said, okay, we might want to think about an alternate supply point here. And you could talk about the transportation secretary, you could talk about any of the administrative departments, and they're just an inept organization. So when it gets back to that Department of Homeland Security that was created in 2003 to help protect our nation, that's run by the Biden administration at this point. So the open border and the ineptness of the Biden administration should give us great cause that we are likely not going to be protected, and we are likely going to see new terrorism. What might that look like? Who knows, right? The nature of terrorism is, you know, it's designed to keep you on your heels. By its very nature, it wants you to not know what's coming. But certainly, we know that our power grid is vulnerable. Certainly, nuclear power plants could be a target. Certainly, oil refineries could be a target. But any parade could be a target, you know, on a smaller scale. Could play itself out in any number of ways. So the question is, what I'm getting to, what should the mountain men be doing to prepare for this? There's really three things that I want to suggest today. There's many things, but there's really three things. Number one, gentlemen, and I might sound like a broken record, but don't put your head in the sand. Make sure you have a reliable, conservative news source that you're getting the truth, that you're getting the headlines. I spend about 20, 30 minutes every morning drilling down on the headlines, and I'll pick 4 or 5 topics and I'll drill down a little further, do a little research, and I spend about the same amount of time the other end of the day, and it's usually during the middle of the day I'll take a little peek in too. Number two is, you know, this nation needs leadership. It needs leadership badly. So maybe you don't feel like you're in a place right now where you can provide some of that leadership, but gentlemen, I want to challenge you to think about filling the leadership pipeline with you. Fill the leadership pipeline with you. Be thinking now, okay, I'm going to run for school board in 2 years. I'm going to run for the city council, the county legislature, maybe state government, maybe federal government. Be in preparation for that kind of leadership. But it doesn't have to just be political. Maybe it's in a nonprofit. Maybe it's in the media world. Wherever it is, start thinking about filling the pipeline of cultural leadership with yourself. And number 3, gentlemen, we need to be thinking about the safety and protection of our family. And this point now, I'm talking about traditional prepping. A lot of people think that the whole prepper movement is overkill. Well, gentlemen, these are crazy times we live in right now. If there ever was a time that I think that you should be thinking about how would your family fare if the power grid goes down for just say a month, just stop and think. Write out what would be the implications if you're on a city water system and the power goes down. You're not getting water. What are you going to do for water, after 2 or 3 days? If the electricity goes down, your food in your refrigerator, your food in your freezer, these kinds of things are going to spoil very quickly. So guys, you really need to be thinking about the safety of your family and the safety of others and the safety of yourself. That's number 3. So gentlemen, there could be many more things we could talk about, but I just want to get this headline out there because I don't think you're seeing it in the media. Terrorism is likely to see a reemergence in this country, and I want you to be thinking about that and not in denial about that, all right? So gentlemen, thank you for hanging out today. If you found this video helpful, I hope you'll give it a thumbs up. When you do that, you help me reach and help other men deal with stuff in their lives and their families, and encourage more men to have a positive impact on this culture for good. And also, if you're not subscribed, I hope you'll subscribe today. So thanks, gentlemen, for your time. I hope this has been helpful. I'm David Long. This is The Mountain Men. I hope you have a great day. See you in the next video.